The city hums in muted gray as the sun sinks low, painting the skyline in dull orange. It's a tired city, cracks in the sidewalks, rust on the fire hydrants, and flickering streetlights that haven't worked right in years. No one notices. Or maybe they've just stopped caring. Inside a battered city utility truck, Tom Carter, 62, sits with both hands on the wheel, staring straight ahead. The dashboard is dusty, the glove compartment rattles with every bump, and the faint smell of burnt wiring lingers in the cab, a scent he's come to associate with time passing. The keys jingle as he turns the ignition. The truck groans to life. He lets out a slow breath as if exhaling the weight of 3 decades. In the passenger seat, a plain cardboard box, packed neat with decades of memories reduced to a few tools, a worn photo of his wife who passed 10 years ago, and a folder labeled Final Payroll. On top, a sticky note in a secretary's hurried handwriting. "Thanks, Tom. HR says you're all set." That was it. 30 years. No ceremony, no handshake, no plaque. No one even said goodbye when he walked out of the office. He shifts the truck into drive. The streets roll past like a slideshow of neglect. Boarded up shops, a kid kicking a can down the sidewalk, a bus bench at half peeled off. As he drives, the streetlights above buzz weakly, then flicker off, then on again. Tom glances up. Still doing that, he mutters to himself. His voice is gravelly, unused. No one to talk to, really, since Judy passed. His only real conversation partners for the last few years had been wires, fuses, and old circuit maps. He slows the truck at a light, red, but the bulb flickers like a dying firefly. He remembers installing that one himself. 22 years. Go? Back when the city was still growing. Back when people smiled and waved at him as he worked. Before the budget cuts. Before they forgot who kept the lights on. He chuckles bitterly. Built this whole damn system. Now it can't even say goodbye. The truck idles. A couple walks by, arguing about something. They don't look up. Don't glance at the city truck. Don't see the man inside. They never do. Tom presses the gas. As the truck rolls toward the edge of the city, the skyline fades behind him. The familiar tangle of wires and blinking lights gives way to open road and pine trees. It should feel like freedom, but something gnaws at him. In the rearview mirror, he sees them again, the streetlights. One by one, flickering behind him like a trail of sparks. Not in sync, erratic, desperate. Like the system is calling out to him. "Come on," he says, shaking his head. "I'm done." But the lights keep flickering. 1, 2, 3, then darkness. Then again. He pulls over, kills the engine. Silence. Just the wind in the trees and the faint electric hum of a dying grid behind him. Tom steps out of the truck. Gravel crunches beneath his boots. He turns to face the city one last time. From here he sees it all. The winding roads, the rooftops, the skeletons of streetlights stretching into the distance. And then, he sees it. A surge. Down the avenue, one light flares bright. Then, the next, then another. Like a heartbeat trying to restart. His chest tightens. He's not just seeing things. Something's wrong. The system, his system, it's struggling, fighting, and no one else even notices. He stands there, fists clenched, the cold wind tugging at his jacket. "I built you," he whispers, eyes stinging. "I kept you alive." For a moment, just a moment, he forgets about the silence of his retirement, the emptiness in that cardboard box, the quiet goodbye. All he sees now is a city blinking in distress, and no one left who knows how to fix it, except him. The morning. Sun rises hot and unforgiving, casting long streaks of light over the cracked pavement of downtown. Summer's barely begun, but already the city feels suffocated, the kind of heat that sticks to your skin and hums in the air like something waiting to break. At Miss Ellie's diner, the neon open sign sputters uncertainly. Inside, the fans spin lazily overhead, struggling to cut through the heat. The small radio behind the counter hisses with static before suddenly blasting a line from an old country song. Then silence. Ellie, in her 60s, and built like a steam engine. In an apron, gives the radio a look. "Not today," she mutters, slapping the dial with practiced irritation. "Don't start with me today, Hank." In a booth near the window, a young couple exchange worried glances as the lights flicker above them. Forks pause mid-air. Conversations stutter. A kid at the counter points up. "Mom, the lights are blinking again." His mom offers a smile too tight to be genuine. "Just old wiring, sweetie." But Ellie knows better. She looks out the window. Across the street, a utility pole trembles slightly, not from the wind, but something deeper. A quiet vibration. A hum, like a warning. Miles away, parked near the edge of a dried-up creek bed, Tom watches from the shade of his truck. He hasn't gone far. Couldn't bring himself to. Not yet. He holds a sandwich in, one hand untouched while his eyes stay fixed on the city. He's not really watching the skyline. He's watching the patterns, the flickers, the same stuttering pulses in the lines he designed 3 decades ago. Something's not right. The system is straining, talking in whispers only he knows how to hear, and he says nothing. He's not one of them anymore, not on payroll, not part of the team. The moment he steps back in, they'll just remind him. He's retired. He leans his head back against the seat and closes his eyes, but he still hears it, in his bones, in the way a man hears an old dog barking from 2 blocks away and knows it's his. By midweek, the air grows heavier. Concrete radiates heat like an oven. Kids press their faces against convenience store freezers, praying for some relief. Then, a loud pop echoes through the neighborhoods. Another, then another. The buzz of electricity falters. Transformers. Across 3 city blocks, lights go out. Air conditioners fail. Elevators grind to a halt. A bakery loses its cooling system. A nursing home's backup generator groans under pressure. People step out into the streets, confused, their phones blinking, no service. News vans roll out. By sundown, a headline appears online. City grid buckles under first major heat wave. Experts cite lack of maintenance. There's no photo, no quote. But a line in the 3rd paragraph hits Tom in the chest. Former engineers warned of aging infrastructure as early as 2017. Those warnings, however, appear to have gone unheeded. He's still in the truck, now parked outside an old substation on the west side. The place looks like a skeleton. Rusted panels, weeds between the fence posts, a broken padlock. He used to walk these grounds, knew every wire by name. Tom lowers. The article rubs his face. He had written that warning. 3 separate memos, each one more urgent than the last. Buried by City Hall. Budget excuses. Next quarter promises. He stares at the substation door. It stares back. Inside, he knows there are systems that haven't been updated in a decade. Switches barely hanging on. Faulty relays. Any of which could cascade into a blackout if... Stressed again. His fingers twitch at the memory of them. The screws. The humming warmth of a line coming back to life. The satisfaction of knowing people could see again. Could live again. Because he showed up. He slams the door of the truck and gets out. But he doesn't go in. Not yet. Instead, he walks the fence line, hand trailing along the metal. There's a whisper in the wires, a tremor he can feel in the soles of his boots. This isn't just a bad heat wave. It's a warning. One final test. He reaches the end of the fence, turns back to the truck, and sees something that makes him stop cold. Boy, maybe 10, riding his bike near the edge of a transformer unit. The same model Tom flagged last year. He didn't just flag it. He begged them to replace it. The casing is cracked, and it's humming. Louder now. The boy doesn't know. Just rides in lazy circles, hands off the handlebars, laughing like the world is fine. Tom's breath catches. He sprints. "Hey, kid," he shouts, waving his arms. "Get away from there." The boy looks confused, then startled, and bolts in the other direction. Moments later, the transformer sparks. Just once, enough to make the hairs on Tom's neck stand up. He stares at the unit, chest heaving. That could have been it. A boy on a bike taken out by a system no one bothered to listen to. Tom swallows hard, the guilt knotting in his stomach. He turns slowly toward the city skyline, now tinged with smoke trails and flickering lights. He thought he was leaving it all behind, but it's not done with him yet. A siren wails in the distance, bouncing off the buildings like a cry for help. It's late afternoon, the air thick with humidity, and the city pulses with heat and tension. Power lines sag under the weight of invisible pressure. Streetlights blink like eyes fighting to stay open. Tom sits alone on a weather-worn bench in a park not far from downtown, eating a vending machine sandwich with the slow, mechanical rhythm of someone with nowhere else to be. His eyes trace the electric cables weaving above like spiderwebs on the verge of tearing. His phone buzzes in his shirt pocket. He almost ignores it. But then he sees the name, Karen, Mobile. His daughter, he answers, wiping his hands on his pants. Yeah, he says. Her voice is sharp, panicked. Dad, was there a power surge this morning? Something with the grid? Tom sits up straighter. What happened? It was Owen. He got stuck in the elevator in our building. No lights, no sound, just trapped for almost 15 minutes. He's 8, Dad. He thought he was gonna die. Tom's heart punches his ribs. Is he okay now? He's shaken up, still crying. I had to pry the doors open myself. Building manager said something about a circuit fault. She pauses. You used to handle this stuff, right? Tom's voice is quiet. Yeah, I did. Karen exhales hard. I thought they fixed all this crap after that winter outage last year. He doesn't respond. Dad? She presses. Tom's fingers tighten around the phone. They didn't. There's silence that stretches too long. You always said you'd leave this city better than you found it. He wants to tell her he tried, that he fought for upgrades, that he shouted into empty meeting rooms and left stacks of reports on desks. No one read. Instead, he says, I'm sorry, kid, and hangs up. He lowers the phone to his lap. The wind shifts. A transformer hums in the distance, high-pitched, strained. The systems are screaming now. That night, Miss Ellie's porch is lit by candlelight. Across the street, a small crowd gathers around an ambulance. A man in his 70s is loaded into the back on a stretcher. His wife, in a bathrobe, clutches her chest as neighbors console her. He fell down the stairs during the blackout, Ellie whispers to Tom, who watches from the sidewalk. No railing, no lights. Tom's jaw tightens. Was he hurt bad? Busted. Hip. Maybe worse. She studies his face. You know what's happening, don't you? He doesn't answer. Your fingerprints are all over this city, she says. And now it's falling apart. He looks away. It's not mine anymore, she sighs. Still feels like it is. The next morning, Tom marches into City Hall. The lobby is cold and sterile. The receptionist barely looks up. I need to speak to someone from Public Works, Tom says. She chews gum, types something. Do you have an appointment? No. Then I can't help you. He clenches his jaw. Tell them it's Tom Carter. Tell them the system is going to fail. Not just flickers, full collapse. She shrugs. Leave a message. No one comes down. No one calls him back. No one cares. So he writes a letter, not an email, not a voicemail. A letter, on paper, in his own shaky handwriting. The hospital subgrid hasn't been upgraded in 16 years. You are risking lives. I won't be responsible. Fix it before it fails. He slides it under the deputy director's door and walks away. 3 days later, Tom Hauer is back in his truck, parked at the same overlook as before. From here, the city shimmers with unrest. Flickering lights, confused traffic signals, backup generators stuttering to life. Then it hits the news. Pediatric wing loses power. During surgery, emergency crews save child's life amid grid. Failure. He stares at the headline. The hospital, the wing he warned about. His throat goes dry. His chest tightens like a vice. He failed. Again. Not because he was wrong, but because no one listened. Because they never listened. And because this time, he walked away. He rests his forehead against the steering wheel, gripping it like it's the only thing holding him together. They still need me. he whispers, eyes burning. But he's already gone. They forgot him. They ignored him. And now the city is paying the price. The evening air hangs still, heavy with the weight of something about to break. Tom sits at the kitchen table, the silence of his modest home broken only by the tick, tick, tick of an old wall clock. The same one that hung in his office at the city plant for years. Brought it home when they cleared his things. No one noticed then. No one noticed much of anything. He sips coffee gone cold. His eyes are tired, and not just from age, but from carrying a lifetime of being ignored, dismissed, warned, but unheeded. Then, a knock, sharp, urgent. He frowns. No one visits anymore. He walks to the door, opens it, and there she is, Mayor Samantha Reyes, still in her tailored navy suit, heels slightly dusty, hair pulled back but strands escaping in the sticky wind. Behind her, a black city car idles on the curb, but it's her eyes that freeze Tom in place, wide, frantic, pleading. "Tom," she breathes. He doesn't move, doesn't invite her in. She steps forward. Then, with a gesture so unexpected it robs the moment of breath, she kneels, right there. On his cracked front porch, Tom stares. "Please," she says, hands trembling. "We're in trouble." He blinks slowly. "Now you want my help." "We need you. I need you." She glances up at him, eyes shining with the kind of desperation that no politician rehearses. "The grid is failing," she says, "neighborhood by neighborhood. The East substation blew last night. We have nurses hand-pumping ventilators. Traffic lights are out downtown. There was a fire at the food warehouse from an overloaded junction box. This isn't just inconvenience. Anymore," she swallows. "This is collapse." He says nothing. "I was wrong," she whispers. "We all were." A beat. Two, Tom's eyes flicker down to her, the woman who once called his concerns paranoia. The same woman who dismissed his final report with a generic press statement and a fruit basket. And now here she is, on her knees. There's a long pause. Then quietly, "Get up, Sam." She rises, slow and cautious, dusting her knees like she's unsure if the shame will ever come off. Tom steps back, opens the door. Inside, the ticking clock grows louder. Tom stands at the sink, sleeves rolled, hands wrapped around a thermos he hasn't used in years. The air in the house buzzes with tension and nostalgia. Mayor Reyes sits awkwardly at the table, watching as he packs his tool bag. Not city-issued tools, his tools. Ones he's customized, repaired, and trusted for decades. She clears her throat. The council will want oversight. Reports. Liability forms. "No," he says without looking at her. "You don't understand." "I said no." He zips the bag shut with finality. The sound slices through her protests like a knife. "If I do this," he says, turning to her, "I do it my way. No boards, no suits, no initiatives. I don't want a team of interns with iPads telling me how transformers work." She hesitates. "And if someone tries to stop you?" I walk. They lock eyes. She nods. "Okay. Then let's go." It's past midnight when Tom arrives at the East substation. The night air buzzes with static literal and emotional. A few engineers in reflective vests linger outside the gates, arguing over tablets. One sees him approach, double takes, and nudges the others. "Is that Tom Carter?" someone whispers. "Didn't he retire?" Tom walks past them, unbothered. He's not here to answer questions. He's here to work. Inside, the control. Room is chaos, panels blinking red, readouts spiking and dipping like a dying heartbeat. Sparks dance near a busted circuit mount, casting shadows on the stained walls. He breathes it in. The acrid scent of burning copper, oil, and forgotten maintenance. Feels like home. He pops open the fuse box, rolls his shoulders, whispers to self, "All right, girl, let's dance." His hands move fast, practiced, sockets loosen, panels swing open, cables are rerouted. One by one, dying parts are brought back to life with old-school fixes the manuals forgot to include. He replaces a relay with a trick he invented in '98. Bypasses a failed grid node with parts salvaged from the emergency pile no one thought to. Check hours pass. Sweat drips from his brow, streaking down his face like the years catching up. He's not fast anymore, but he's precise. He knows this system like a heartbeat, and it's finally listening. By dawn, the lights on the main panel flick from angry red to soft, steady green. Outside, the hum of streetlights returning to life buzzes like a hymn. Tom steps out into the cool morning, his bag slung over one shoulder. The young engineers watch in awe. He nods once. "Don't just learn the grid," he says. "Understand it." And walks toward the rising sun. The sky boils black above the city. Storm clouds churn like bruises across the horizon, heavy with electric tension. Sirens echo faintly in the distance. Not urgent, not panicked, just weary. Like the city itself. Inside the east substation, Tom pulls on his old leather gloves. The seams are cracked, the palms stained with oil and time. They feel like home. Around him, a small team moves like bees in a broken hive. Engineers, retired linemen, a kid from Ellie's diner who used to fix jukeboxes in his garage. None of them were officially called in. They just showed up because Tom called, because they remembered. "We've got about 40 minutes before the storm hits full force," says Lena, a young grid analyst with tired eyes and a stubborn jaw. "If we don't redistribute load now, the central node's gonna fry." Tom nods. He already knows. He can feel it in his bones. The way the wires hum too loud, the way lights flicker just a second too long before catching. It's not just power anymore, it's life support. "Backup systems?" he asks. "Failing," she says, one by one. A heavy silence. Then Tom speaks, voice calm but sharp. "All right. We split. Lena, reroute District 3 to the East Relay. Chris, get me voltage dampeners from the old unit and bring them to the relay tower. The tall one off 9th and Bixby." Someone whistles. "That tower's been condemned." Tom turns to him. "So is this whole system. I'm still here, aren't I?" The guy swallows hard, nods. Tom grabs his tools. No time for speeches, just work. The wind screams by the time they reach the tower, a skeletal giant rising out of the soaked concrete. Its rusted joints groaning under the storm's weight. Rain lashes sideways. Thunder growls. Tom stares up, eyes narrowing against the downpour. It's higher than he remembers. Or maybe he's just older. Chris pulls the truck closer. "Tom, you sure about this? One wrong step." Tom doesn't answer. He clips his harness. "You don't have to climb," Chris insists. We can wait for the city crew." "There's no time," Tom says, tightening the straps. "This tower connects every major hospital east of the river. If we lose it," he trails off. They both know what happens. Tom places a hand on the cold metal, then begins to climb. Each rung shrieks under his weight, slick with rain and rust. His fingers grip tight. His knees burn. Wind howls past like a living thing, trying to peel him off the skeleton. Halfway up, lightning arcs across the sky, so close the air crackles. He doesn't stop, doesn't look down, just keeps climbing. 30 feet, 50, higher. Finally, he reaches the top. The junction box sways in the gale like a heartbeat, metal creaking with strain. He opens it with frozen hands. Inside, chaos, half-melted wiring, ancient couplings, a dead circuit. He has one. Chance to reroute. The rain stings his face. He fumbles, wipes his eyes, yanks out the faulty line, and splices in the new dampener. A flash of light, lightning, slams into the far end of the grid. Tom gasps. The box sparks. The tower shakes. And for a single breathless second, everything goes dark. No streetlights, no monitors, no hum. Just the silence of a city holding its breath. Then, with a low rising whine, power surges back. Lights flicker on across the skyline. Emergency signs glow red in hospital windows. Traffic. Lights blink amber and green. A cheer erupts from the crew down below. Tom exhales, but his legs are trembling. His grip loosens. For a terrifying second, the world spins. He slumps against the box, clutching it like a lifeline. Then, slowly, he begins to climb down. Each rung feels heavier than the last. By the time he hits the ground, Chris is there, catching him as his knees buckle. "You did it," Chris says, breathless. Tom gives a half smile. Didn't do it alone. They look out across the city. A few lights flicker, but most hold strong. Tom pulls off his gloves. The leather is soaked, nearly torn at the seams. He tosses them into the back of the truck. Won't be needing those for a while. Behind them, the clouds begin to break. A strip of dawn splits the sky, pink and gold over the wet rooftops. Tom leans. Against the fender, breath coming slow and deep, exhausted. But something in his chest is lighter, fuller. He doesn't say it out loud, but he feels it. He stayed. He mattered. He made it count. And somewhere in the city, a boy rides a working elevator. A nurse checks a vitals monitor that glows steady green. A woman flips her diner sign from closed to open, lights humming to life behind her. Tom closes his eyes, let the storm rage. He's not running anymore. A week later, the sun rises gently over the city, golden and quiet, the way light looks after a storm has passed. Children's laughter drifts on the breeze. Flags sway in the soft wind. The small park beside City Hall is full, not with noise, but with warmth. Folding chairs, homemade signs, paper cups of lemonade. A crowd of familiar faces gathers under strings of colored lights, still blinking in daylight, as if unsure how to stop glowing. Tom stands off to the side in a clean shirt he didn't know he still owned, watching people he's known for decades. Not through handshakes, but wires and fuses, back when he was just a name on a clipboard or a number on a shift roster. Now, they're here for him. A little boy with round glasses walks up, gripping something large and awkward. It's a hand-painted banner, crooked letters and fingerprint smudges. "Thank you, Mr. Tom," the boy says, smiling shy. Tom crouches down, takes the banner gently. The words wobble across the fabric. "You brought back the light." Behind the boy stands Lena, his mom, arms crossed, eyes shimmering. "He made it himself," she says, voice catching. "Said he wanted to thank the man who fixed the elevator." Tom chuckles softly, swallowing the lump in his throat. "That elevator gave me the scare of my life," Lena continues. "But after what you did, he says he wants to build things when he grows up. Not just wires, systems, stuff that matters." Tom looks down at the banner again, then folds it like it's made of glass. Mayor Samantha Reyes approaches, dressed simply without the usual press in tow. Just her holding a small metal plaque. "I wanted to ask," she says, "if you'd allow us to name the new substation after you." Tom pauses, looks around, sees kids running between the benches, neighbors, chatting. The diner's cook handing out cookies from a basket. He shakes his head. "No need for that," he says. "But," he looks over at Lena, then back at the mayor, "if there's any budget left, set up an apprenticeship fund for young folks. Teach them what I know and what I didn't." The mayor nods slowly, eyes soft. "You've got it. There's no standing ovation. No big speech, just a quiet moment. Sunlight on faces, wind in trees." Lena steps forward, places a hand on Tom's shoulder. "We're proud of you," she says. Tom takes a breath. It feels deeper than it's felt in years. Like it reaches all, the way down into something that's been empty for too long. "Thank you," he says softly. And this time, when he turns to walk away, he isn't leaving. He's returning. Not to wires, not to tools, but to a life that finally feels seen. Sometimes the people who hold up the world don't do it for applause. They do it because it needs to be done. Because heroes don't always wear badges. Sometimes they wear coveralls. They carry wire cutters instead of swords. And they save cities not with fanfare, but with a single, quiet spark in the dark. Thank the ones who keep your lights on.